Hello and welcome to our humble Highland home. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and a huge heartfelt thank you for all your patience over the past few weeks. A few months ago I had a big change in my life circumstances, which meant adapting my routines and also finding some new ones. So, as much as I love spending time with you all here on YouTube, I desperately needed some time when I got back from my trip to get our own house and living rhythms back in place and working for us. Whilst I've been away, I've noticed that we've had some new community members come to join us. So a very warm welcome to you all, and thank you for choosing to spend some of your time here with us all here. Please feel free to join in the chat in the comments below or over on Instagram. We've also had the absolute pleasure of being able to be present in the company of some dear friends and family and celebrating their special occasions. So it's been time to get back to basics and simplify life again by getting the day-to-day tasks that need to be taken care of in the house and in the garden, and what a difference a few weeks can make at this time of year. One of the jobs on my list was to top up the manure container, which had settled just over time. So I took a wee wander just down the road with a wheelbarrow to collect some more horse manure. I tried to collect the manure that has been sitting the longest, so it's broken down that little bit more. Although when I come to use a lot of it, I will lift the cone and use it from the bottom, as I want it to be as mature as possible for putting on the garden beds in autumn time, adding to mulch mixes, and also when I add it to the compost. We like to make the most of what we have available to us, and we try to keep everything as natural as possible. It's no secret that I don't agree with pesticides and artificial fertilisers that are used on commercially grown foods. This can speed up the growing process, but the full benefits of the nutrients don't have time to be realised. So by producing more slower grown foods at home using more natural methods can provide more nutritionally dense veg without fear of not knowing it's been sprayed with or fed with. I use a lasagna layering system to produce our compost, and in each one of those bays I use a layer of manure and then add some either wood chips or chopped up leaves to cover it over. I try to add a little bit to the compost bay every day, because the more I make, the more goes back into the ground and the more I don't have to buy. I build the layers around the old container, which you can see in the compost bay, and this just keeps a air hole in the compost for the layers below and just allows everything to breathe. Next, I've been busy reaping the rewards of our hard work by harvesting produce either for the kitchen, for preserving, or for sharing. These garlic have been drying out here, waiting patiently for me to layer them up, tie them, and put them in storage for curing. I normally cure my garlic for around about a month, so it should be just about ready. We gained mixed sized bulbs this year, which will be sorted out into different piles. The biggest and the healthiest will be saved for October's planting, and some will be shared and some preserved in oil or in honey, or we could dehydrate some to make some garlic powder or chopped up in the freezers. There's lots of things that we could do with the garlic. But as long as we save enough to replant, so I can keep our growing sustainable circle working. So that's the garlic taken care of just now, but with future plantings in mind. I've been planting some seeds 4 weeks ago, and these were just a few days ago before I planted them outside. We have a succession planting of multi-sown beetroot and different varieties of salad leaves. I've also been pricking out young seedlings. These are leek seedlings, some of which are from home saved seeds from last year, and it looks like we are on track to be able to harvest a lot more leek seeds this year too. As time goes on, I try to use more and more of our own home saved seeds. It just makes sense to keep adding to your own wee seed bank, which can give you some peace of mind that you have a sustainable supply of your own varieties of your favourite veggies. I like to have seed saving as part of the plan for the garden, as you never know when you might need these seeds. And of course, it's always better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. With the worldwide chaos that we've all been experiencing, this is something that we can do positively by focusing on bringing it home into our own homegrown economies and providing some of our own food security for our family and for our local communities. These leeks can take a long time to grow to maturity, so I'm going to keep them growing in the trays as long as I can until their allocated space comes clear in the garden, because it's currently full growing other things just now. Of course, there's been the plants that have reached the time for them to be planted out to grow on. Like these celery, I've been interplanting with some young onions. I've not done very well with onions this year, so I'm trying different things and observing them, as they tend to be preferred to be in the polytunnel this year, but we shall see. This was, of course, a few weeks ago, and lots of interplanting has been going on. This salad bed is intended for brassicas, but I may as well use the bed for salad first and plant brassicas in between for a second crop. And once the lettuce comes out, there may be space for a few leek seedlings alongside the brassicas too. I will see what is ready at the time, but this is for now. And just a few weeks later, this is what it looked like a couple of days ago. So once I got back on top of the weeding, the harvesting, the preserving, the seed planting, the pricking out and the planting, then it was time to make some progress with more of the digging out and clearing around the bottom step of the new garden steps. Digging out and clearing along this space here has made it a lot safer for me to be able to work. and it really shows off the rock base of the upper garden. So this is why we have piles of rocks everywhere, but the rocks always come in handy, and once this area is dug out and moved back, it will really open up this part of the garden, which will become the new courtyard garden. I try to do a little and often of the digging so it doesn't become overwhelming and I don't end up doing myself an injury. And with all this busyness going on, I have consciously made time to enjoy the sun whilst it's shining, and by slowing down, taking the time away from screens and reading a book. Yes, a real paper book. So thank you all once again for sticking around. I really appreciate every single one of you. But for now, take care of yourself and others, and I'll see you in the next video.